The monthly report has new ship information. Let's do it. November, December were extremely busy months with the ship teams completing the Perseus, Clipper, Golem, MDC, L-22, and Salvation for IAE, alongside supporting the push for the first release of engineering. So we have a couple of ships to update straight from that. The RSI Salvager that we now know is the Salvation. Obviously, confidence level is extremely high because it is released. L-22 Wolf was the laser variant, and that's one of our unannounced ships here. So we thought that was in the final art phase. We had some notes on it. It was in April. Greybox, Lot 0 in October. It could be, it could not be. We're just going to go with the fact that it is. The Golem Ox actually was a complete surprise to me. Next on the list, the Clipper. Drake Clipper. That was a unannounced vehicle. Oh boy, which unannounced vehicle was it though, guys? So I don't even know. I think we're just gonna have to pick a ship and be like, yeah, this was the Clipper. This is why I hate the unannounced ships. We're just gonna call this one the Clipper. Screw it. The MDC and the Perseus are all we have left, and the Perseus luckily actually has a slot already. It has released. All right, do we have the MTC here? Was that a thing that we actually covered? Yes, Greycat MTC. All right, we got a variant of this bad boy. So I'm gonna duplicate this guy. Call it the MDC. Say we've got very high confidence on it because it is released. That's all our old stuff. Oh my gosh. Glad to be past that. Now we can move on to what's new and exciting. They said a big shout out to virtually the whole vehicle content design and QA teams who undertook the Herculean effort of multiple sweeps across the entire fleet of vehicles to validate and make changes to support fire, dynamic room atmosphere, resource network, and engineering features, as well as the artist who helped spot fix the most egregious errors. We'll need that on the rest of them, but I bet it was a ton of work, yeah. In the UK, progress was also made on numerous vehicles coming later this year, including the Gattac Raylan, which entered production in mid-November, with the initial artist building on the pre-production work done during the white box phase. Now, they said that this has entered pre-production, or sorry, not pre-production, this has entered production in November. But they're planning on it coming this year. That means they're not going to have the 18th month cycle that they've talked about for these ships, unless they're talking about maybe from the pre-production of earlier. Either way, Gattac Raylan, we can expect it this year, so we're going to make sure that our confidence level supports that. Let's raise this up to high. It's not in, what is it in? Entered production. We're going to go ahead and assume that means we've hit white box. Expected release, I still think could be a July. Honestly, though, if it's just hitting production now, I think it's going to be an end of year thing. So I'm going to shift my due date for this to IAE. But I'm still going to call it high confidence. Building on pre-production work. That's what we'll keep that as. It's a cool ship. It's pretty exciting to see that it's actually in the works. Gold standard work on the Aegis Hammerhead continued. Areas were refined across the ship, as well as breaking out various parts into an Aegis kit for use across future ships, as per MISC, RSI, and Drake. Good to see that they're getting this done across all manufacturers. It's going to make future ships happen much faster. Aegis Hammerhead update. You know what's up there. Still in Lot 0, we're going to say expected release. Honestly, let's say March. The MISC Hull B passed its white box review and moved into gray box. Good to hear. Well, this is funny because the MISC Hull B is the make or break on whether or not we're getting the MISC Expanse this year, I think. They said they want to do a MISC ship. It could be the Hull B. It could also be something else like the Expanse. It's nice to see that the Hull B is moving into gray box, though. I would still point, I think it's still going to be like around Invictus kind of time. Moving on, we've got the Drake Ironclad, Ironclad Assault, and Command Module progressing towards their gray box reviews. In December, the Ironclad Assault received particular focus after the base ship resolved a lot of the required core setup. The first playable review gate of the Command Module's functionality was completed in mid-December. We saw this in the core gameplay section, so the gameplay development is following the ship development when it comes to the Ironclads, and this is good. I'm going to go ahead and break out the variant here because we're starting to get more granular updates on them. So we'll have the Drake Ironclad Assault and the basic Drake Ironclad here. Now, both have progressing towards their gray box review. So they're still in gray box, but they're getting there. They're getting close. I'm going to go ahead and still say these are a expected Drake Defense Con release, so end of May. End of May is actually feeling more and more hopeful now. If they're just getting to their gray box review in November, that would probably give them about 4 months to go from Lot 0 to released. That's a lot of work, but it's doable. It is doable. Like, knowing CIG, when they want to get something released for a deal, they get something released for a deal. And I'll tell you, releasing the Drake Ironclad in the Invictus Defense Con this week on Drake's Day would be one of the best things they could possibly do for this game in all of its history. It would be such a perfect release time for this game. It would lead them into Squadron. It would freaking catapult hype for the summer. And it would be good because we're starting to see a lot more need for heavy cargo haulers and stuff when crafting's coming in the game. So it's not like the Ironclad's not going to have its main gameplay need by May. Unless they're slow on crafting, then oops, my bad. Continuing on. The Greycat UTV also continued through development, including updates to the dashboard after discussions with UI on how to best integrate the required screens, as well as a motion capture session to add a new enter and exit animation. Hopefully, that enter and exit animation is not too long. The Greycat, what was it? UTV? I think this is the first mention of this in a monthly report. Let's go ahead and add it. If they're doing dashboard updates and UI stuff, then it's probably in gray box, if not Lot 0, so we'll keep it there. Expected release, I think could come in the next couple of months. We'll put it at a March release with a medium confidence. First mention was today, and devs are unsure about phase in January. Devs are working on the dashboard. Now I'm going to replace, so we have a link for this so you guys can see all of this publicly. I'm going to actually replace that link with this page and publish it so that you can just come into this website here on our website and see this whole database. I just got to get around to that. As mentioned during CitizenCon, the third in the series of large RSI ships, the Galaxy has entered pre-production. That's exciting. Not much of an update on it, but at least we get to know that it's there and being worked on. I don't think it's on the list. I think this is the first. This is the first mention. This is a huge ship to be bringing in for the first time on the monthly report. It's a monumentous occasion, folks. We already have the absolute utmost highest level confidence. In fact, we're going to say this is assured. Like, we know that the Galaxy is coming out. It is currently in pre-production, but the expected release is IAE this year because they have literally told us that, so we're going to mark it down for RSI Day. What's the guess on RSI Day? We will be literally coming back to this in November of this year. Do you guys think we can hit the exact day that RSI would be? If the Galaxy is the big ship that they're focusing on, they're probably going to make RSI Day either the first or second day. So it'll probably start on the 19th or 20th, so RSI Day would probably be like the 20th or 21st. I'm going to put November 20th as our guess. 4 currently unannounced vehicles progress through the pipeline. Okay, so we already have more here than we should. The ship closest to release passed both its white box and gray box reviews, with only a few minor technical details needing further iteration. So that means anything here that is not white box or gray box, I was wrong about. Like, these have already released then. So this was final art in November, so this is released. I was wrong about it. This was final review in November, so this was also a ship that released that I was wrong about. So let's get rid of these two. Final review in gray box. These were 2 unannounced vehicles. What could this have been? Screw it, dude. I'm starting over on unannounced vehicles. I'm not even... It's a new year. It's a new me. Let's just say screw all the unannounced and try again. All right, so we got 4 unannounced vehicles. So let's just add unannounced vehicle number 1. The ship closest to release passed both its white box and gray box reviews. Okay. So this we're going to put down as our first unannounced vehicle. Low confidence. Lot 0. I'll say expected release would make sense for next month, considering it passed both white box and gray box in 2 months' time. And we'll put that note down here. But we have no idea what it is, so low confidence. Next unannounced vehicle, the second, is progressing quickly due to the availability of its existing brand kit. Okay. So it's definitely not Origin. We'll put this down also as low confidence. No idea where it is. No idea of an expected release date. I'm going to add a new confidence level in here that says none. And it's just going to be black. Just gray. No confidence. Super boring. First mention today. Last update today. And we know it's progressing because of its brand kit. We don't know anything else besides it. The third passed its white box following a hugely successful concept stage, which tells us nothing. But it does tell us that it is in the gray box. We're going to go ahead and say there's no confidence there either. No expected release date. We could always say what we think they might be, but who knows? So the first one was a ship. They do say the first is a ship, second ship, third ship. They don't say that any of them are vehicles, but they do say vehicles in the first part. So I'm guessing these aren't all ships. The fourth, they say though, comes from a manufacturer that hasn't been worked on for a while and entered production after the initial concept phases resolved issues with its interior components. So that's a big bit of information from a manufacturer that hasn't been worked on for a while and entered production after the initial concept phases. So this thing is in white box. No confidence on it either. Still no release date. First mention was today. Last update was today. For the one that they said they have high confidence on, yeah, this one progressing quickly. I will say an expected release for this. If it's progressing quickly, we don't know where it could be. So I can't even put it. Yeah, you can't put an expected date there. We'll see. We'll see as they build these out in terms of information what they might be. Moving on, the North American teams continued work on the Kraken. Drake's capital ship continued through white box with the goal now set for its white box review in February. Team made changes to the interior to add navigation throughput as well as simplifying methods of moving vehicles and cargo, especially with the latter traversing through the ship. Yeah, they have the, oh no, this is the Kraken I'm thinking of. Jesus, the Kraken. A lot of work was done to ensure changes have no impact on the privateer variant when that goes into production in the future. The team also held a walkthrough meeting to show the ship ahead of the formal gate review, preparing the downstream teams for the sheer scope of work required. This is a massive ship. This is actually the only ship currently on the list that is a capital class, and it's a very impressive one. I'm going to keep our confidence on this one at medium. It is still approaching the white box review, I think they said. So we're going to add that to our notes here. It was in pre-production from July through August, entered white box in September, and now has a goal for a white box review in February. So November, December, made some work. This is going to really help us understand these ship timelines. So the Kraken is doing okay. They broke out the variant, so that's not actually going to be listed there. I'm still going to have this as a 2027 May release because this ship's just got so much freaking work that needs to be done. I'm thinking a year after the Ironclad makes sense. 2 unannounced vehicles were also worked on, the first ending in 2025 with a review gate in preparation for its early 26 release, while the second moved through white box, with the team focusing on its unique hero rooms. Ooh, hero rooms, folks. Is it the Banu Merchantman? I'm sorry, that's just mean. It's not the Banu Merchantman. It's not. But we got 2 more unannounced vehicles. That's exciting. Passed its review gate in preparation for its early 2026 release. That's an interesting. So this might release this month. I would say this month or next month. We don't know what it is. We don't know if it is coming this month, but it's definitely going to happen pretty soon. Could be the Apollo. Let's say could be the Apollo variant. I really want to have like a multi-choice option in this list where we can just have the ship names that it might be, but that feels a little too deep. The other one moved through white box with the team focusing on hero rooms. Honestly, I would say, so it's still in the white box phase. Unannounced vehicle, expected release. I don't know. Let's just say like a March kind of time. Low confidence. I don't know what the heck's going on with this thing. First mentioned today, last mentioned today. They're focusing on the hero rooms as an interesting one. We'll see. That's everything. That's all the ships that we're tracking right now. This is everything we've got going on. Obviously, there are some ships here that have not gotten any updates in a little while. Most of the stuff that's released is what's missing the dates, and unfortunately, maybe I'll go back through and fill these in when we have the time. Let's sort this by last updated, and we can see how many ships are currently in development. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, right? The rest of these haven't been updated recently or are released. How many 2026 ships am I thinking? Well, they said 21 plus, right? Probably around like 20, 24, 25 ships this year. So we're already seeing half of them in development, which makes sense. Considering how many they want to release, I'm guessing we're going to see these delivered much more quickly than we are used to seeing. So these dates will be changing a lot over the next few months, I think. And that's that. I think we're pretty good. Those are the ships in production.